Welcome back, you guys. It's just me, you, and the roosters. I thought it's a good time to do a walkthrough of the greenhouse. For those of you who are not living in the Philippines, you may find this design a little strange. However, we want to keep animals away from our plants, so we used steel matting for our walls. Those monsters seem so happy because they're constantly bringing out new leaves. What do you guys think? At the back corner of our greenhouse, you can find our rain collector. Initially, we wanted to have a deep well. However, my husband found this photo of a rain collector online and we really liked the design. So the rest is history. Even the roosters are agreeing. Of course, you have a sliding door. I always wanted a sliding door for our gate. However, it didn't happen. So I made sure that this greenhouse would have a sliding door. This design would not get in the way and it just blends in with the wall. Come on in. Please excuse the mess. We try to be tidy, but sometimes life just happens. Oops. Okay, I didn't buy these. My sister gave them to me yesterday. I don't know how many plants I've got. I never really counted them. But they're basically just multiples of the same plant. So I don't think I have enough plants yet, husband. Anyway, this, what I would call my welcome plant. This was a gift. It was gifted to me as a seedling many moons ago. I can't recall how long that was, probably about a year. And look how it has grown. So beautiful. I really like this plant, and look how the leaves are starting to give me ripples. At first, I thought we would just put plants on the sides of the greenhouse, but they're plants. They get big. This greenhouse kind of looks smaller than it used to be just because the plants are obviously taller. Yeah, well, if you're using me as a reference, everything would be taller. When I entered the greenhouse the other day, that tiny little thing was already devouring this part of the leaf. Usually I check the underside of the leaves, but sometimes we get busy. Anyway, I thought I would show you this wonky looking plant that my husband really likes because he said it just wants to spread its leaves everywhere. These are my syngonium arias. At the back here are my syngonium scrambled eggs. Look how beautiful this one is. I got this plant as a one leafer. My friend actually sold this to me because my last plant before reverted, but that reverted plant is Now, heavily variegated. Some of these plants are given to me by friends and relatives, like this one. It's one of mom's favorite plant. My mom passed away last year in December. This one is a very special plant. I'm gonna cry. This one is a very special plant because it's one of those I can't. All right, this is my fifth take because this one's kind of hard to talk about without being emotional. My sister gave it to me because it's one of mom's favorite. So she gave it to me as a very small plant, and now it's gotten bigger. It's just hard to talk about this because when I start talking about my mom, I would remember how she used to walk in the greenhouse when I'm working here. And I would sometimes kind of nag her, like, why are you walking? You may fall on the gravel or slip. She liked plants. She liked to be around here. I never really got myself Prince of Orange before. I focus more on variegated plants. But like I said, this is quite special, so I'm taking care of it. Like, I don't want the leaves to get burned and whatnot, and I want it to get big because I feel like my mom would be happy if she's around, if she knew that I'm taking care of this. My Adelanema crenipes variegata. This is probably the most expensive plant I got before. I think it's still on the rare side, at least in my area, because I haven't seen one of these from any of the plant collectors I know. I don't know if I can get this one. Look at that new leaf. It's just stunning. And you know, I just got it as a wet stick with an active shoot. And now, this is how big it is. I've actually propagated its seedlings and sold quite a few of them already. Okay, this beauty right here is, ta-da! So like my other plants, I got this as a cutting when it wasn't hella expensive yet. And it has an unfurling leaf. It's a happy plant. It has a green leaf right there, but I thought I would keep it. Usually I would cut it, but this plant may need it. Okay, this is a little heavy. Philodendron glorious. I'll put it back because it's a little heavy. Philodendron glorious. It's looking so glorious. Oh, I just love the variegation on this plant. This is actually my second philodendron blizzard. So the first one I got, no, this is my third. The first one I sold, the second one I've propagated and sold. And what's left of it turned into mush, unfortunately. But I got this in July, and it's now looking sexy. These two are gifts from a friend. Atianga, she's like an older sister to me. Really nice lady. If you remember my first video when I was showing you how I made a trellis, these three were the first ones I did. I can't show all three of them to you, so look how happy they are. They're just loving the trellis. This is my pride and joy. Epipremnumpinnatummarble. This specimen has a lot of mutations, but out of all mutations out there, this is by far my most favorite. Let's do a head check. Look how consistent the marbling on the leaves. It's just a beaut. This is the newest leaf, and it's still gonna grow bigger because it's still soft. The new leaf on this one is so big. You would notice that the plants that are close to the wall are tied to the wall. It's just an additional safety precaution. This section is mostly epipremnumpinnatum. I have an elbow. I also have a mint. This one is a mint. So tall. I'll just get the juvenile. This one is a juvenile form of epipremnumpinnatum. I also have an aureum. This is epipremnumpinnatummarble, like this one, just in its juvenile state. I actually cut it the other day, and it's doing art. So even though it's sitting right under the skylight, it doesn't burn. Flexing my monstera borsigiana elbow. Monsteras are my first love when I got into plants, and during the pandemic I really wanted one. Not only that it was crazy expensive, it was also hard to find at the time. Talking about crazy expensive plants during the pandemic or plant-demic. This is a philodendron white princess. During the pandemic, it was around $400, but a few months ago, I bought this for less than $10. Since I don't have a variegated philodendron billet yet, I'm fine with this one for the moment. Oh, this was a gift as well from my friend Blessing. She's a blessing. She left Palawan and moved back to Manila, and she gave me some of her plants, including this. My stunning alocasia mellow. I know a lot of you has a love and hate relationship with the Locasia. I feel the same way. But this is just stunning. Look at the markings. Speaking of markings, this is also a plant that won't fall behind. My Cercistis mirabilis. Of course, we're gonna talk about the wall a little bit. Look at my anthurium forgeria. Just so happy. Anyway, most of my anthuriums are on the wall because it's just easier for me to raise the humidity since they're all together there. I constantly wet the foam slabs at the back to help with the humidity. Speaking of humidity, we opted for gravel because it holds moisture and slowly release it that the plants love. This wall was made after my mom passed away. I wanted to keep myself occupied, so I decided to build this wall. And it's also a tribute to my mother because she loved driftwood and rocks. Quickly, let me just talk about how I air layer. These specimens started to push out whiter leaves, so I wanted to propagate it. And this is how I do it with matured plants so they wouldn't lose leaves. I cut the pot like that and then put a hole big enough to insert the pole at the bottom. And then I just put a tie wire to hold the pot so it wouldn't fall. Obviously, it likes it because there's a difference in size with this leaf. This is when I started, and then the succeeding leaves are bigger and they have more splits. My propagation station. It's just a more organized way of putting away your propagations. They could take up a lot of shelving space. And these are hook baskets I've ordered online. So if you're fun-sized, like me, you need to get a ladder or get a tall husband to water. I just have a funny story about the fan. So when people see this fan, they always think that I just love my plant so much that I brought in a fan for them. But this is actually for me when I'm working here. Be the fan for more air circulation. And there's always construction going around here. This is a residential area, so you would hear a lot of noise. I made this trellis for my enjoy poppers. This is how your run-of-the-mill potters could look more important. That leaf is just too big. Monstera, Dubai. I'm gonna end my video with my Anthurium magnificum newly unfurled leaf. It seems bigger than yesterday. Yesterday was this big and now it's this big. Or maybe that was 2 days ago. I can't remember. I hope you liked the walkthrough of House of Aroids. I'll see you on the next one. Please click that subscribe button gently, don't smash it.